So we're going to make GAPS compliant coconut bread. This is a great recipe for bread if you are doing some more serious gut healing or low carb protocols. So we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of coconut flour. As always, organic is best. We'll put that in the mixing bowl. Next, we're going to do 6 eggs. This helps hold it together because coconut flour can be a little bit flaky. So you want lots of good binder. And it also makes the bread super nutrient dense. So next we're going to melt 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil. You can also use ghee or butter for this. Adds all sorts of healthy fats to the recipe. Healthy saturated fats, which are excellent for building our hormones, fueling our cells. See where that gets us. Yeah, that's about right. So I'm going to put this now in a pot and melt it. So we've got the coconut oil all melted, and we're going to pour that in. You're going to put in a dash of salt. And now you get to make a choice if you want to do a sweet coconut bread or more of a savory one. I'm going to do more of a sweet one today. Depending on how serious of a gut healing protocol you're doing, you may not be doing fruit, but if you are doing fruit, you can use about 1/3 of a cup of apple puree, which is what I'm doing. So we just boiled and pureed apples into like an applesauce. There's no sugar added or anything, it's just plain apple puree. So I'm going to put that in. Another option would be to use a couple tablespoons of raw honey as well, or in addition. I actually like to drizzle honey on top of the bread, so I'm going to leave it out of the actual recipe. But if you're not doing fruit but you are doing honey, that would be another way to do it. Or if you are not doing anything sweet at all, you're not doing any fruit, you can also make this savory by frying up some onions and garlic, pureeing it, and putting about the same amount, about 1/3 of a cup of that into the dough as well. And that will give the bread more of a savory flavor. All right, so we are going to now mix this all up. Yeah, so it doesn't look like a lot of coconut flour when you first put it in, but coconut flour is really fibrous and it really soaks up water, so or liquid. So you actually don't need much coconut flour with ratio to the liquids you add to get a really nice consistency. All right, so that's pretty well mixed up. There's not really any lumps left in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bread loaf pan. So you have your bread loaf pan. And I'm going to take just about another spoonful of coconut oil, and I'm going to use that to grease the pan so that it's a little easier to get out. I put too much in. Now you can also, again, use ghee or butter for this purpose, if you would prefer. So the pan is nice and greasy, and we have preheated the oven to 350. So now we're going to put this batter into the left pan. What a pretty color that is, those orange pastured yolks. All right, looks pretty good. Now, if you're making it savory, you could always top it with a little bit of dried rosemary or oregano. Since we're doing it a little more sweet, I'm going to do just a little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg. For people who are doing a more intensive gut reset, sometimes those spices can be a little irritating, so you might not want to include them, but I'm going to do that. Okay, put it in the oven, and we're gonna let that cook for about 40 minutes. Test it with a knife, and look at that, it comes out clean. Yum.
Let me zoom in on it a little bit. Oh, that looks really good.
So now you want to let it cool off before you try to cut it and extract it out of the dish.